Does this ever happen to you? Is there an SCP that you really hate and wish for it to burn in hell? Well, don't worry, because you're not alone, or maybe you are. To answer this, today I'll investigate what's the most hated SCP in the game, and then compare them with the other SCPs to figure out why they are hated and how to potentially fix their issue. Also a warning, things will probably get controversial, so if you disagree or have anything to add, make sure to write it in the comments. Anyways, let's not waste any time and get right into it. First, I needed to get some raw data, so I went undercover and started interviewing random individuals in random servers about what SCP they hate the most. I have a question though, what's the SCP you hate the most? I'm with the SSLN and you know, this is an important survey.
When it comes to survival, I think it's the PC. He just keeps closing doors on you.
Lady.
Peanut.
Oh. Peanut? Why Peanut, man? What did Peanut do to you?
This is fucking annoying.
SCP, these nuts.
However, this was proving to be rather ineffective due to 1. People being mentally challenged, and 2. Everybody somehow had a different answer. But then I remembered, hold on, I'm a YouTuber, I'm just gonna post a poll on both YouTube and my Discord server. And after a few days and 3000 votes, the results were pretty obvious. But why is that? Let's analyze each SCP and then compare them to these two. First we have SCP-939, a relatively balanced SCP who can take and give quite a one beating. However, her ability to ambush and to listen to sound makes her the most effective as an ambush predator and more weak against big heavily armored groups. So the idea behind this SCP is very clear. They have unbalanced HP and damage and fair advantage and disadvantage, and also make things funnier with their voice stealing ability. Now this is a good SCP. The same applies to 049 and 106. 049 has an advantage in hunting down solo targets and turning them into zombies, which are really useful for supporting the SCP team, especially when dealing with large amounts of enemies. However, his downside is his slowness and fragileness. Once again, 049 has a clear advantage and disadvantage, and the player's skill will decide will he die or dominate in the facility. Same goes for 106. Due to his unique abilities, he has a special advantage but also disadvantage and still a very fair and fun SCP to play. And then we have these two SCPs. SCP-096 only disadvantage is that if you don't look at him, he won't be able to kill you. But the thing is, unless you wanna run into walls or die to unclass David and Pistol, needing to look down 24/7 is actually a much bigger disadvantage for you than it is for him. Especially when he has his boyfriend SCPs following him and killing anybody who gets near. So unlike all of his SCP teammates, he has literally no downsides and forces you to stare down for the whole game unless you want him to decimate you in 5 seconds. And many people may be like, oh well, you're just bad at the game, you just need to shoot 096 and he'll die easily. Now I don't know what server you're playing on, but from my experience, let's say we have a group of 13 MTF and we're all facing a Shy Guy, Larry and 939. First of all, let's count in that at least 3 of my teammates are pussies who will run away when they look at the Shy Guy. Then let's keep in mind 2 MTF will miss almost all of their shots. That leaves us with 8 competent MTF who are usually armed with mediocre weapons like the Crosswhack. The 096 hides behind a door until he rages and then charges at us, and it's literally mathematically impossible for the 8 of us to fire enough bullets into him and do any major damage in the 4 seconds he takes to reach us, especially if we're getting fucked by his teammates on our flanks or if they just absorbed half of the damage for him. Now let's switch things up a bit. Let's say that instead of the Shy Guy there was an 173 or an 049. There is no way the SCPs could just charge at us since their attack speed and HP will not stand a chance against a firing line of 13 people, even if the 3 of us miss. However, if the SCPs pulled back into heavy, then the winner will be the one who plays smarter. If the MTF stick together, share loot and shoot the SCPs, they will probably win unless the SCPs stick together even better, and then destroy the MTF by doing a surprise flank attack with 106 or do an even different move. If you're confused, what I'm trying to say is that when the SCPs don't have the ability to just wipe out the MTF in 6 seconds, it forces both sides to play tactically, which leads to a fun and fair round. But since 096 has no downside plus has extreme speed and damage, this completely throws out all of this strategy into the water, and allows the SCPs to usually dominate every server no matter how they play. Unless they're facing 50 MTF or if every MTF member uses 200% of their brain to stick together and hit all of their shots, which let's be real will only happen in like 5% of rounds. And as you play the game more and more, at some point you literally gain a sixth sense that tells you these guys have no idea what they're doing and we're all gonna die in literally 30 seconds. And you're correct almost every single time, which isn't a good thing. Like, wow, thank you for letting me know that we're all gonna die in 30 seconds, how considerate of you. This feeling then often leads the more experienced players to just abandon their team and go alone, because they know they have no chance and they're going to die with them, which then just decreases the chances of the team surviving even more. Now in my opinion, there is a very simple solution to all of this. Nerfing 096 isn't exactly right since he is meant to be an Key-Through class anomaly that can shred anything in his path. And I mean, without him the SCPs will not stand a chance against servers with hundreds of MTF, so then simply ban them from spawning unless the server has a player count that will allow frequent spawn waves of like, I don't know, 25 people. And you may think, well, if we ignore the chances of chaos spawning and MTF and chaos slaughtering each other, isn't 20 people with automatic weapons a bit too much for a group of slow SCPs to handle? And well, the answer is no. All the SCPs can put their abilities together, zombies, slow down poops, amnestic cloud ambushes, old uncle ambushes and other things to slowly slowly but surely take down the MTF wave. And this is all if you completely ignore the existence of 079, which can just say fuck you to the MTF's teamwork and firepower by splitting them apart with doors, frying them with Tesla gates and turning off the damn lights every single second. So let's conclude for the shy guy. Why is he hated? It's because he has no downsides compared to his SCP teammates, which then completely sucks out the fun and tactical aspects of the game. Like the Peanut Snack Snaps or 049 zombies are mere side characters when the 096 shreds apart any enemy in 5 seconds by just pressing left click. However, 096 is valid in rare scenarios where the SCPs have to face an army of MTF every 5 minutes, which means the logical solution is to just make him spawn really rarely if the SCP server doesn't have at least 30 plus players. Now let's talk about SCP-079. Now even though I said a bit earlier that these 4 SCPs can win with the power of friendship, I'm gonna be real, that's actually pretty unlikely unless they play almost near perfectly and the MTF aren't careful. Like all it takes for you to avoid them is holding shift, S and then shooting them with left click at the same time. But you know, since that will be too simple to beat, Northwood decided to add this amazing feature called SCP-079, who went from being completely useless to literally being the most hated and feared SCP by far during a certain period of the game's existence. But why is that? Well, it's pretty simple. Imagine being good at the game, getting great items and having a great round. You're about to finally... Wait, hold on, I just got locked in a room and there's literally absolutely nothing I can do besides wait to die. I mean, what's even the point of all of my effort and skill if I can just lose to one Discord mod pressing right click? What I'm saying is 079 is meant to be a support role and not the hunter. Luckily, the 14.0 update addressed this really well by removing like 80% of doors in heavy, which made him much less oppressive. Sure, he's still a pain in the ass, but at least he can perma-lock you every 10 seconds. But if this is the case, why are people still hating on this guy? And honestly, I don't know. I will definitely much rather have some doors closed on me and lights turned off instead of getting two-shotted by this thing. But I'm not saying 079 is perfect. He can still completely cook you with doors in light containment and in entrance zone, which even though he's better than the 096, it's still an annoying gameplay feature and is a death sentence if you're alone. So my proposal for fixing this guy will be to make it much more expensive to fuck with people who are alone or in small groups compared to when dealing with massive groups of enemies. For example, it will take 4 times more power to lock a door when there is only 1 person in his view compared to when there's 6 people in his view. This makes absolutely no sense lore-wise, but then again that doesn't really matter since nothing makes sense in this game. Like who gave one K2 class anomaly this big of a backside? I'm still baffled about that, but yeah, let's not go off point. The point is that this way you will reduce his ability to unfairly screw over weak people without making him unable to help out his team when they get swarmed. And to make up for this, it will be cool if they added more ways of harming enemies instead of it just being doors and Tesla gates. Like for example, he could activate power near a water pool which will electrocute any humans in that area. Or he could also hack the cameras and make them give out really bright flashes that blind enemies. Like there's so many cool ideas for ways the 079 could sabotage enemies instead of it just being closing doors, but oh well. I'm sure Northwood has ideas themselves, but they're just busy with other parts of the game, which is completely fair. Oh, also honorable mention SCP-3114. Like fuck this guy, who the hell loves this thing? I actually don't get it. If you thought 079 locking you and invalidating all of your skill and effort is bad, imagine if we gave 079 the ability to walk and be invisible. I sure think love having to be paranoid of every human in the facility because one of them could be an SCP that will choke me like a passionate homosexual and then steal my skin. This SCP's only mechanics are to be annoying and unfair as fuck and is only fun for like 1 round. Not to mention his SCP team is fucked since he wasted an SCP spawn slot but can do absolutely nothing against a group of more than 3 MTF. By the way, make sure to subscribe or otherwise SCP-3114 will choke you in all of your future games. Trust me, this was scientifically proven. God bless, he doesn't spawn unless the server owners enable him, but yeah, anyways. Now we've officially investigated who and why is the most hated SCP and also brought up actually pretty reasonable solutions for fixing them. Do you agree with my conclusions and ideas? Make sure to let me know in the comments. Also make sure to subscribe to not miss out on any SCP-SL strategies, crazy challenges and other epic SCP content. Thank you a lot for watching, and I mean thank you a lot, and I'll see you next time.